is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my weekly movie review roundup, episode 11. So yeah, happy Leap Day to everybody, and the reason why I'm doing this video on Monday instead of this past weekend, because of course, very busy yesterday with the Academy Awards. Always make a big deal out of watching the Academy Awards and making picks with the family, doing the family pool. So yeah, this week I've only got 5 films to talk about this week, and I want to keep this video shorter because last week was half an hour long, and that's way too long. But there were some good movies I really wanted to talk about in more detail last week. So this week I'm going to try and attempt to keep it a little bit shorter. So let's start with last Tuesday, which was February 23rd, I believe. Yeah, February 23rd, that's my best guess. I watched Rock the Casbah. Rock the Casbah, directed by Barry Levinson. Of course, stars Bill Murray as a sort of struggling rock tour manager who takes one of his acts, played by Zoe Deschanel, to Afghanistan to play in front of the USO tour. She bails when she gets to Afghanistan, doesn't like the whole situation over there during the war and everything. She gets scared off. And one day while he's wandering through I believe a Pashtun village, he stumbles upon a young Afghan girl who's playing guitar and singing by herself in a cave, and he wants to put her on the Afghanistan equivalent of American Idol or X Factor, this TV show, little one TV show run out of Kabul, called Afghan Star. And of course, due to her father and religious beliefs, all that kind of stuff, she's not allowed on the show. She would be the first female on the show. So yeah, there's a lot of backlash from the Afghanistan people, but of course she's a great singer, has a great voice, and she's a wonderful performer on the show. And eventually the country, the Afghanistan people, fall in love with this girl, and they vote for her on the Afghan Star TV show. But again, he comes up against all kinds of problems from the U.S. military and the Afghan rebels and the Taliban, those type of people. Not a great film. I've always liked Bill Murray, but this isn't one of his best. The cast is okay. There were some odd appearances by certain actors, like what's her name? Kate Hudson plays a prostitute. Bruce Willis plays a mercenary in the film. There's an appearance by Danny McBride and Scott Conn. But yeah, not a great film. An okay comedy, fairly decent. So I gave Rock the Casbah 6 out of 10. Alright, moving on to Wednesday, February 24th. I watched Infinitely Polar Bear, written and directed by Maya Forbes and starring Mark Ruffalo and Zoe Saldana. It's about a very poor couple living in Boston with their 2 daughters. Mark Ruffalo plays a manic depressive who has a breakdown, sort of forces his wife and his kids away, but they return 6 weeks later. And in order to make things work and to raise some money to send the girls to a good school, Zoe Saldana decides she's going to go off to New York and get her master's degree, leaving her kids behind with Mark Ruffalo, who's basically just out of the hospital, to take care of these 2 daughters. And they're not very well behaved daughters, to be honest. They're very unruly kids. So it's a feel good movie, but it's a lot about this family trying to struggle with this tough situation, trying to make ends meet. He obviously doesn't work because he can't really function in a job, and there's very little money. Even though Zoe Saldana's parents are rich, they won't give him any money, so she has to go off to New York, and so 5 days a week she's off in New York, getting her degree, trying to set up job interviews and get a good job. Meanwhile, she comes home on the weekends, so it's very tough for her to leave her kids behind. And poor Mark Ruffalo is this sort of wreck of a human being trying to cope with these two girls. Yeah, it's a feel-good family movie. Good performance by Mark Ruffalo, and Zoe Saldana was good as well. I didn't love it, but I liked it, so I gave Infinitely Polar Bear a 7 out of 10. Alright, moving on to Thursday, February 25th. I watched A Walk in the Woods, directed by, I believe, Ken Kwapis. Yeah, Ken Kwapis. Based on the book by Bill Bryson. Robert Redford plays Bill Bryson, a elderly man who's been living in the UK for 20 years, and he returns back home to the States for a funeral of one of his old friends. And one day he's out walking about after the funeral, and he comes across the part of the Appalachian Trail, which stretches for over 2,000 miles from like Georgia, South Carolina, and goes all the way up into Maine along the East Coast there. And he's going to decide that he's going to walk the Appalachian Trail against the best wishes of his wife, played by the always wonderful Emma Thompson. He doesn't know anything about hiking or backpacking, how to survive in those kind of conditions. So yeah, just something for him to do. He's a writer, so he may or may not write about it. Obviously he did, hence it's based on the book. And Robert Redford's playing the guy who wrote the book. His friend, old friend or old enemy, Nemesis, played by Nick Nolte, sort of invites himself along on the journey. At first, Robert Redford, because Emma Thompson's like, you're not doing this alone. She gets all these articles about people dying on the trail, being attacked by bears, and running into mountain people from Deliverance, that kind of thing. So she's like, you're not doing this alone. So Robert Redford calls up all his friends and asks all these people to join him, and they all say no. And sort of out of the blue, Nick Nolte decides to call him up and like, hey, I hear you're doing this Appalachian Trail. How about I come along? And Nick Nolte's kind of a wreck. He's a drunk. Kind of a weird role for him, because I gotta be honest, Nick Nolte's a great actor, but his voice is sort of gone. It's shot at this point, and he's just really hard to listen to when he talks these days in movies. I've got great respect for Nick Nolte, but he's kind of actor I don't really look forward to seeing him anymore, because of the way he talks. It's really hard to understand him. Robert Redford's always good, but this is a pretty lightweight movie, I thought. If you've seen Wild with Reese Witherspoon, which is about, of course, a girl doing the Pacific Coast Trail, that movie was a lot better. It had a lot more edge to it. I just liked it better than this film. This film, it has its moments. There's some sort of sweet moments along the way between the two of them, especially the part where Nick Nolte hooks up with with a woman at a laundromat, and then her crazy big husband comes looking for him at a motel they're staying at. But yeah, it's sort of very lightweight. Not real much meat to the bone as far as real drama goes. And basically they quit like not even halfway through. So it's yeah, they're like, we're not even halfway done. Let's just go home. That's like the end of the movie. So A Walk in the Woods, kind of disappointing. Emma Thompson, like I said, and Robert Redford were good enough. So I gave A Walk in the Woods 6 out of 10. Alright, moving on to Friday, February 26th. I watched Irrational Man, written and directed by Woody Allen. Of course, Woody Allen comes out with a film every year, and Sometimes they're hits, sometimes they're misses, but sort of very similar to films like Match Point in recent years. Yeah, sort of fun little murder mystery, if you like. Not really a comedy though. Joaquin Phoenix plays a philosophy professor who comes to a small East Coast college with a bit of a reputation. He's kind of a downer, a bit of a depressed. He's kind of depressed, but he's a brilliant professor, and everybody, the students and the faculty, are all sort of jazzed to welcome him as their new philosophy professor. Emma Stone is one of his students, and she sort of falls in love with him, becomes infatuated with him. Um, Parker Posey plays one of the other professors in the same department, I think, and they have a little affair. But it's really a film about Joaquin Phoenix and Emma Stone's relationship. Emma Stone has a boyfriend, but like I said, she starts falling in love with Joaquin Phoenix, and at first he resists her. Um, but it's Emma Stone. It's hard to resist Emma Stone after a while. So they start having a relationship, and one day they're in a coffee shop, and like in a booth at a coffee shop, and they overhear the conversation that's going on next to them. And there's this woman who's complaining about she's dealing with a court case, trying to her husband's taking away her children, and she's getting screwed over by the judge. So in order to lift Joaquin Phoenix's spirits, he decides he's gonna kill the judge just for because he has no motive, no connection to this woman next to him, and he thinks he can get away with it because it'll be the perfect murder. Um, and he basically does for the most part until it starts all unraveling by the end of the movie. And I won't say any more about it at that, but I will say the last scene is a great scene. Woody Allen always great punchy dialogue. Emma Stone though, I love Emma Stone. Don't get me wrong, but I found her character just a little bit too needy and annoying in this movie. She like won't let up when it comes to, and she treats her boyfriend like shit. To be honest, as well, that kind of bugged me because as she falls in love with Joaquin Phoenix. But yeah, it's a good movie. Good sort of twist at the end. Really good performance by Joaquin Phoenix. Always great to see Parker Posey. And I love Emma Stone, like I said. So yeah, Woody Allen's Irrational Man, I gave a 7 out of 10. Alright, last but perhaps maybe least, on Saturday, February 27th, I watched Hotel Transylvania 2, um, directed by Gendy Tartakovsky. Yeah, not really a great sequel to Hotel Transylvania, which I wasn't really a fan of to begin with. Of course, Dracula, voiced by Adam Sandler. At the beginning of the movie, his daughter, Mavis, who's voiced by Selena Gomez, gets married to a human. They have a baby, and of course, Dracula is hell-bent on the little boy being able to fly and become a bat. But he's like half bat, half human, half vampire, half human. And sort of the rest of the film I really don't remember that well because, to be honest, I fell asleep about half hour into the movie, and I didn't feel like watching the whole bloody thing. I mean, I sort of dozed in and out. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't really a huge fan of the first Hotel Transylvania. There's some good usual suspects when it comes to Adam Sandler movies as part of the voice cast. Andy Samberg plays Jonathan, the husband. You've got people like Kevin James as Frankenstein, Steve Buscemi as Wayne, David Spade, Fran Drescher, Molly Shannon, Nick Offerman, Mel Brooks, even. Yeah, sort of a sweet, fun movie. If you liked like the first one, if you like monsters, I really wasn't that impressed with it. Obviously, because again, I pretty much dozed through most of the film. But Hotel Transylvania 2, I gave a 5 out of 10. So there you have it. 5 movies this week. Not a great week, to be honest. But this upcoming week, there's some good movies coming out tomorrow on Netflix, and one of them is one of the big Oscar movies, which I hadn't had a chance to see yet, and I'm dying to see it. So I'm looking forward to watching that tomorrow. I've already confirmed that it's coming in the mail, so I got some good movies to talk about for you guys next week. And luckily, hopefully, this video isn't half-hour long like it was last week. So thanks for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see ya.
Bom.